We are going to be turning on Widows. We're going to be with the lights on. The volume is going to be a little bit lower, so you can feel free to peruse in there, see a little bit more.
Here's the spider webs. What are they made out of? Plastic.
My goal was always to scare the tour guide. Yeah. And he quit. Spray all over the place. Pregnant men.
Yes.
Spider. So that's where they'll pump the fog in right there. So this is one of the venom pools they're talking about.
Oh, and you look where the scare monsters come out.
Kind of.
Well, when it's dark, you don't notice that fur at all.
We didn't even see this guy earlier, or that egg. There's actually several of those eggs, and I didn't notice a single one of them when we were here. I didn't see that right either.
Up there.
Big jumping net.
And of course, I think that's where the concept of Windows was born, was the fear, the arachnophobia, the fear of spiders. It really came about, I've told the story several times. I was walking my dog right around my neighborhood, and there was a bunch of trees. And right at that time of year, all the spiders come out, and they just spin webs everywhere. It's kind of disgusting. So I took my little terrier out, and literally every 10 feet, I would get a spider web in my face. And I said, I would love to create this feeling for all my guests. So that's exactly what I set out to do, was to kind of get this feeling of having spider webs in your face and feeling itchy when you go through the maze. With a co-worker, she was talking to me. Her name is Glow. She's actually the bride if you ever go to Knott Scary Farm in Ghost Town Streets. We talked about what our major fears were. And she said, well, a hospital or a convalescent home. And it just completely dawned on me that, oh wow, that'd be a great combo to shove together black widow spiders and these widows from a convalescent home. And of course the name just stuck, Widows. So it was just a match made in heaven. I knew it was kind of a home run right when I thought of it. I immediately went to my computer and started to write it up and to tell a backstory. Speaking of backstories, there's actually a couple of storylines that's going on inside the maze. One is that these demonic spiders are coming up from the ground and taking over the convalescent home, and entering the skin of these grandmothers. Often I kind of think about, how does a character, like Pasta, she said she did this, how does a character actually work inside of the maze? One answer is to dress them up as grandmas, but to actually feel like they have spiders within themselves. So they are burrowed into the grandmothers and move like spiders. They're fast and vicious like spiders. So there's two parts to this maze. One is the convalescent home, and one is the spider lair. There's a middle room, which you probably also, or most of you saw. It's called the Voodoo. We used to have a maze here 5-10 years ago called Voodoo, and in it there was, we love Easter eggs. We love to refer to old mazes and constantly bring them back. Our Voodoo maze had a Voodoo queen in there, and she cursed. Well, the story is that she was moved into this convalescent home, and she hated it. She hated the nurses, she hated the staff, she hated the other people inside the maze. So she said, hey, I'm going to open up a portal into this underworld and invite all these spiders to basically take care of all my problems in the convalescent home. Kind of dark, but I think it's kind of fun in a way.
Yeah, and I'll tell everybody, when we listened to this pitches a year ago, we were all on camera, and I immediately, after page one, turned my camera off, and I was just like, this is disgusting in the best way. So, talking about going to primal fears, like you have nailed the head on that. What's great, we talk about Knott's Berry Farm, same people that design, same people that build. The best thing part about that is, after Daniel pitches that, the next meeting he goes into, he's also the same scenic designer of Snoopy's Night Before Christmas. So after he talks about these convalescent home spiders and old ladies, he goes into the twinkling stars and the ice skaters, and it's beautiful. So same guy for both.
I do love doing the Snoopy on Ice and all the other events that happen, but we consider Haunt our dessert. We love working on Haunt. I mean, I think there's a passion from the monsters, to the designers, to all the production people, that we love doing this event. And I think that's the key, is the passion that really,
it's Eric and the team, they have their work cut out for them.
every room is, again, should tell a story. Should actually, you walk in and you should see you're under attack by spiders, or you should see that the venom is pooling in the venom pools. All that is to aid the story, to keep on telling the story on and on. So each room has its own individual plot that we can experience.
Awesome. What about you two? Is there anything in the maze that you're like, ooh, you should really pay attention to this with the lights on?
One thing you'll definitely see is scare actors. Sometimes you can definitely see where their placements are, because that's usually where like the most wear and tear is on a venue. You can be like, yes, they've been here, because you can see like kind of their area, whether it's sometimes a patch in the wall or you know, something that looks like it's been broken, because sometimes they get a little overzealous, even though we try not to. But if you walk into the room, really check out the placement of where you would think a talent would go. And I can guarantee that it might not be the first place you think of. So I think that's really interesting, especially with widows. Like with our Daddy Longleg characters, we kind of had a challenge because the way the room is shaped is like a horseshoe, but so you enter one side and you can still see the entire room. So it was very challenging to figure out where we were going to put talent. We wanted to show off their costumes because they are on quad stilts, which is something very unique because we don't have quad stilts anywhere else. So they're on these arm sort of extensions to make them look larger. They have larger arms that come up, and their masks are actually on the top of their head. So they kind of have to there's just this big giant spider that we were like, are they going to fit in the space? How are we going to do that? So when you walk through the temple room before you get to Arachne's final room, there's 3 performers in there, as well as a priestess. 3 of them are on these weird arm stilts, and we somehow managed to fit in a giant animatronic that lurches over your head. So there's a lot going on in that room. So take a special detail to that, because it has to work seamlessly to make it work.
Awesome. What about you, Eric?
I just want everybody to, as they're walking through, just take note of how many spider webs are in this thing, and how much glue and scare cloth that we actually went through in this maze. It must be a record. Daniel even had to assist with getting all the spray webs on everything. He spent like a week in there on his own, just doing it on top of the 10-person crew that we had.
Children have come for this, I see. You are so precious.
A time for the awakening is nigh. Join us, sisters. We offer our fresh trainers. skin of another sister, a human sister. For tonight, you are one flesh, one body, all to benefit the next, to multiply the next